Hi, welcome. I'm Neat,
I'm Rocks.
and this is the Bourbon Barrel. And today we're releasing the second half of the Doc Swinson interview with Jesse. And, a lot of the same, but it's different, I guess. We're going
The
to,
same. Yeah.
I mean, it's still Doc Swinson bourbons, and we're basically going to be drinking along with him and just, having fun with the master blender there. Or
Jesse
blender.
Parker, the sequel.
Yes, part two. All right, without further ado, here it is. Cool. So, without further ado, shall we do the New York exclusive?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Hooray for more bourbon.
I don't blame
Let's sing song.
you. Is it Friday?
So we're supposed to get a wicked snowstorm here, so it could be Friday for us.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah, I've heard it's been just all those nor'easters are just. It seems like that every year, though. Is that wrong of me to say, or?
No, you're not wrong.
Okay.
It's either 8 to 12 inches every other week, or where you are, it's like 9 months of rain, right?
Yeah, right.
Yes, we have that. Although it's been a little weird this year, I have to admit, it's been. We had what they called like the 100 or 200-year flood this year, which was pretty wild.
Yeah.
Where we had some of the streets in town, for example, were 4 or 5 feet underwater. There was cars floating in them. People were kayaking down some of our streets this year, which was pretty wild. And all the farmlands looked like bays. So it's been an odd year, but it's awfully been kind of like dry and sunny, which doesn't happen here. Let me put it that way. So it's either like intense rain or sunny.
Yeah.
Dry weather. So
we do get our summers here where it's like we either have -20 or like 110. There's like 3 weeks of like good weather.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So we're somewhat related. In fact, I think New York and Washington are the two largest apple producing states in the country. So
there you go.
That is correct.
There's got to be something about different, but kind of the same.
It's all the lake effect snow here, and you guys have that ocean breeze, I guess. So
yeah, that keeps it pretty lukewarm. Actually, we don't. Our temperature doesn't vary a whole lot. I will admit that's why it just rains all the time.
Yeah, the mutual friend that we have that set all this up actually was telling me she took a walk and it was like 50 degrees. And I'm like, it's -10.
Ooh, gosh. Oh, I know. Yeah. I gotta thank Maggie. She's a wonderful, wonderful person. So
yes,
this was a really cool connection. Probably the best connection I've had so far. I'm like, what? This is so awesome. Yeah. I got that text message from her saying, I
don't know who she is, but she's awesome.
Ooh, yeah, to Maggie.
It doesn't matter. To Maggie.
Maggie. We couldn't say no, should you? Your bottles are so well written too. They're just fun to read. Like I love everything about the artistic. I'm more of the artistic kind of, and he's more like
I just
political
the episodes.
Yeah, I'm more pie in the sky and stuff, and I love the artwork of it, the story. Even looking up Doc Swinson, I love that stuff.
Oh, thanks. Well, I appreciate it. Thanks. Hey, like you said, it makes like a good team. That's why there's two of you doing all that, right? I mean,
I have a blend
here.
So yeah.
I don't personally touch every single thing. I do taste every single barrel, but reality is I have a really great team behind me that makes all this really happen. So
that's very cool.
That's the cool thing.
Do you ever get higher charred barrels, or do you not? You stick to you said number 4 char? Is that what?
Yeah, number 4 is typically considered just alligator char. So you don't get higher than that. I'm sure you could specify it, but number 4 is pretty much it. I do get every once in a while number 3s as well. They seemed a little bit softer, but number 4s tend to really bring out that nice caramel flavor, vanilla flavor, and
100% agree with that.
Yeah,
because some of my favorite ones are the double oaked and the extra char and that.
We've had some really good double oak stuff.
Yeah, I don't do. I haven't gotten quite. We haven't gotten quite large enough where I can actually specify my char levels yet. We're right on the verge of saying, hey, I'm going to buy all new make. These are the kind of barrels I want to use. So I've been doing a lot of research in which ones I want to kind of feed in there. A couple % of these, a couple % of those. But that's right. Maybe the next 6 to 8 months. I think we're going to start doing stuff like that.
We saw you made Fred Minnick's top 100 of the year last year of whiskeys or whatever. That's all over Facebook and stuff. Yeah, so he's awesome. I love his show.
Yeah, he even took one of our bourbons on, it's like not Good Morning America, Good Morning New York, something like that, as one of his top 3 for the year, which was kind of cool too.
That's awesome.
So we were really happy with that. He's been a wonderful person to work with, and that's actually really awesome to hear, to be honest. So like I said, sometimes it takes time. It takes 6 to 8 months or so to start getting even feedback, and you're like, people like this, what's going on, you know? Turns out people are really liking it. I know Fred Mix really enjoyed the rye finished in the rum cask. That's, I think, had been he consistently seems to bring that one up during a lot of his podcasts and whatnot. So
very cool.
Yeah, we're excited. So yeah, this is the single barrel.
New York. Yeah, New York exclusive.
Yeah, I've already tasted that, and I just think it got better as I went, and it was all good.
Well, I'm glad we had input from the guy who made them.
I mean,
thanks for having me. Like I said, I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh no, we appreciate it greatly too.
This New York
This is the
single barrel
coolest thing we've ever done.
Can I find a bottle of this?
I think there's a couple bottles left at the
All right.
place we got it.
These are very limited, you said, the New York single barrels? Is that correct?
So I mean, one, it's there's only about 200, and so I'm not sure exactly with this barrel, but we max out around 230 bottles a barrel. Sometimes it's less, sometimes a little bit more. This particular barrel will be gone. Yes, it's gone. I'm surprised I even found a bottle, to be honest. But we're gonna start doing single barrels a little bit more commonly, meaning like maybe we'll do a limited release in different parts of the country every quarter or every 6 months. We're still kind of working out those details. So you might not find them consistently by any means, but they will pop out from time to time.
Right.
And New York's a really great. We really like our distributor there. So that was, PM Spirits really killed it.
Excellent. Yeah, it's warm and it stays warm, but I mean it's not burning. It's
oh no,
I feel happy.
He feels
It's a good feeling when you're drinking whiskey. I mean, right? I mean, bringing people together, enjoying a laugh.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
That's the best part, is that everybody likes what they like, and the bourbon snob people can go snob somewhere else. Like,
I recently, it's funny you say that. Kind of like what you're saying, like mouthfeel or whatnot. I mean, yeah, these are all industry terms that we use all the time to describe things. So you have to be kind of indoctrinated to them to some degree. But I actually love and grew up eating marzipan, and everybody hates that word. And I recently got totally shut down by another podcast recently. He was like, we have one rule here. Don't ever say the word marzipan. I was like, oh my gosh. Because I know it sounds really snooty, but if you try it, you'll get it.
I think the first time I ever heard, the first time I ever heard the word marzipan was on a Homestar Runner.
Yes.
It's one of those things.
Oh my gosh, that's the throwback. That is grand.
That was early 2000s. Yeah.
It wasn't on the Flintstones. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh man, it was my childhood, man. It was super good.
Is there any common that what should we be excited about other than what we've already can see, like this new white labels and stuff? Is there something you haven't like sort of told people that might
without giving away trade secrets?
I'm always working on different exploratory casts. That's actually something we're really trying to grow. I mean, even though we started Doc Swinson's back in 2017, we haven't really. It was all really small. We'd only be processing 20, 30, 40, 50 barrels a year. That was it. Until this last year and a half or so, where we've gone to, several hundred barrels in processing and making all these cool whiskeys. So I have a, like a little book that I keep all my notes and thoughts in. And I'm like, okay, what about this cast? What about that cast? And it takes a long time to find them. But with that being said, I finally, yes. Yeah. This is one of them.
Nice.
Most of it's up here, to be totally honest. Half the time I never write it down. I'm like, oh no, what was it?
Very cool.
No, but with that being said, I have more access to more whiskeys, which means I can find more barrels and allocate it to more neat projects. So we have a pretty good chunk of our whiskey each year that we're going to dedicate towards exploratory casks. So those will fit under the white label that says, exploratory cask at the top there. And unfortunately, gold foil never looks good on cameras.
Make it work.
But those ones are those could be limited to a single cask. It might be just a really good tasting old whiskey. It could be something that's finished in 4 different barrels. It could be a blend of several things. It could be whatever we feel like it to be, and it's likely to be limited, meaning I may never do it again. So Funky Drummer, yes, is one that once I figure that one out and I get the next round going, I'll select those casks, sell some Funky Drummer. Nice. I've got things from, without giving them away, I love working with fortified wines. They tend to, I think, mingle with spirits the best usually. So anything fortified, I've got my hands on a few dozen different kinds of barrels, as well as I'm starting now to experiment with different kinds of oak, actually. So not just, classic French or Limousine or American oak or various Eastern European oaks. I've been looking into stuff like South America, actually, which is kind of cool. Nice. I'm kind of stoked about those. Those had some really funky, unique flavors, a lot of funky spices. And then I do have some odd ones, some oddballs out there. I've got a rye whiskey finished in rum casks, and then finished in añejo tequila barrels. And so far, I don't know. I know it's always is like, I don't know, tequila and whiskey. A lot of people think they taste terrible. And to be totally fair, I haven't really had anything that tasted good out of them, except for, I will admit, the barrels I'm doing right now are actually pretty damn tasty. So nice. I will release that one as more of my, well, let's see what the market thinks, because I think they're really nice. Probably the more oddball one is I've had the chance to work with some, I'm still working on getting the name to be able to say the name here, the brand, but I think very peated Scotch.
Understood.
Yeah.
In the world, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, it's maybe one of those, but maybe not. I can't say it yet. But
I'm not trying to get you to say it. I'm just saying. Well, that's nothing against them either or anything like that.
Understood.
Just classic.
No, that's super cool that you have so many different irons in the fire. As far as like you are a legitimate modern day mad scientist with what you're doing, and I absolutely love it. And the products, they speak for themselves. They're delicious. I can't say anything bad about them.
We should get him one of those things from Back to the Future that Doc Brown wore on his head, and he was trying to read somebody's mind just as a funny thing. Like
that would be.
It was Doc, and then there's Doc. Like,
I love the creativity there. No, that'd be amazing. That'd be actually really cool. And to be totally fair, this is the first time I've had short hair in like 3 years. It was actually long and ridiculous until 3 hours ago. So I looked like a mad scientist. Yeah, I literally just got a cut before this podcast.
Jeez. Oh wow. Yeah.
That for you, but it's God that it's gone. So there's
I awesome. Basically look like very odd for many years now, and people are like, you got to keep it. It looks good for the image. I'm like, it's in my face all the time. I'm done. It was down to like here. So
understood. I used to have a fro, so I get it. I can't anymore.
Too, you really
can't. But I was that guy at one point in my life.
Yeah, middle school for me, it just went up.
Yep. Yeah, it was all over.
And just by the way, just tell us whenever you need to go or something too, because we might not end it because this is way too.
This is super fun for us.
So if something comes up, we know you have stuff to do and a job and whatnot. So
no, I appreciate that. I gotta say that this company, Doc Swinson Distillers Way, is wonderful. They somehow trust me with a lot of their money and a lot of their whiskey to make all of this and concept it. They're really wonderful people. So yes, at some point in time I will have to leave, but I got some more time, so I've got no problem with that.
We're gonna keep drinking then. That's how that works.
Is there anything in particular that like stands out that you like of these three that you'd like for different occasions, or you would just drink generally?
Honestly, I feel like your alter ego is probably something that beginner bourbon drinkers would probably like more than the rest of them, because there is a sweetness to it that you don't find in a lot of things, and people who are just entering the game probably want more of that sweet than they do like the subtle hints of things. And this is yeah, that's fine. Whatever. I don't care.
People love sugar. That's for sure.
I need to see your gorgeous face.
Absolutely. It's the most addictive substance in the world, despite what anyone else says.
Yep.
But,
what?
America's only native spirit, right?
Diabetes.
Right.
We love sugar.
Off the rails quick
Oh,
here.
yeah. But no, honestly, the alter ego is probably something that I would give to someone or put on a bar cart that, you know, hasn't had a lot of experience in the world with, which is weird because it's not, how do I put this? This isn't like a traditional bourbon because there's so much more to it, and there's so many things going on there. Like triple
It's like it
cast
started as
over the
bourbon,
bourbon.
and this is now.
That's not something you see anywhere.
Yeah.
Like that's nuts.
I mean, literally, we've never seen two
Yeah,
different. Like
yeah.
it's just aged in port, or sherry, or
Yes, it's never
Woodinville does a Pedro Jimenez and a port, but I don't think they
they
do
do
two
together. Yeah.
I mean,
Dude,
even up there with you guys.
It's absolutely insane that this works so well. Like,
Mhm.
and
Thank you.
I would introduce that to anyone, like hands down. I would introduce that to anyone who's like, I don't like bourbon. I'm like, bullshit.
Try this.
There's a lot of people out there that won't even touch bourbon because they're like, it's too fire, it's too this, and I'm like,
Right.
Here.
Yeah.
I agree that it's part of it is to capture the minds and the taste buds of people who normally don't like this kind of stuff. That's where I think finishing casks also have a really good chance in getting more people to turn to this side of things. Come on, drink bourbon. Vodka's okay, but let's be honest, guys. Come on, vodka's not that great.
It burns all the way down every time.
I know. It's just paint thinner at this rate.
It's just potatoes on steroids.
Basically.
Get together with the NHL team and make a batch called Release the Kraken.
What? That's never been done.
No, well, the Kraken's only 1 year old, right? They just became a franchise.
They
Jump right in
have,
on that.
I think that's Westland's actually a really great distillery. If you're into you're into Scotch, right? One of you are. Yeah.
Sort of. Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know if you've tried any American single malts.
I don't think so.
Gotcha.
don't
They're
think
a little more common on the West Coast. Maybe I think I don't entirely know if that's a true statement. But there's a couple distilleries here that do an excellent job, and they're actually in Seattle. So if you're ever in the area, I highly recommend checking them out. One of his Copperworks.
Stay at your place. Yeah.
What's that?
We're gonna stay at your place, right? Road trip.
You're welcome. You're welcome to.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's not the most glorious thing. It's got a great view, but I've got a couch.
He said he lives in the distillery or the
And are you questioning what I? Because that's why I said it. Like I knew that he lives there. Like
Yeah, pick your favorite barrel that you know is most comfortable to lay on. You're good. The big ones are really nice for it. Actually, they're kind of like that Homer Simpsons episode with the trash can. Yeah. Yeah.
it probably be easier for him to come. I've got a wife and 3 kids, so it's gonna be tough. So to sell her on that, I'll be back. It's only cross country, and I'm gonna sleep in a brick house or an office.
It's cost effective, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It'll cost me a marriage, so that's not. I'm not doing that one. Yeah, right. Excellent. She was
Well, if
great.
you're
You're fun to talk to. You were a lot of fun to shoot the breeze with. So
Hey, equally so. Like I said, it makes my job easy when it's not so stale. And honestly, most of the time, I mean, I'm sitting here blending products or in the back or working over Excel sheets most of the time, or doing emails and whatnot. So podcasting and all this media stuff is actually kind of new to me, which is exciting. So I'm just trying to figure out how to hone in some of that. Every interview is a little bit different. Everybody that does it's a little bit different. Some people just push you and carry the whole thing. Some people let you talk a little more freely. Some of it's like sales, which is a thing too. So it's been fun. It's all within the last couple months. I've been doing a lot of these. So this is great, especially with my new podcast setup, which is nice. It used to just be a phone all the time. I finally got a computer with a camera.
Web. Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Who would have thought? A millennial. I'm a terrible millennial. I'll tell you that.
Me too.
I'm of whatever it is before millennials. I don't remember what that's called. Old. I don't know. I don't know.
Old? Oh no.
Oh,
Hey, just
my
like
goodness.
whiskey, right? Gets better with age. Is that how that works? I don't know.
Sometimes I
It's
age
better.
like milk. It depends on
I'm like a fine box of wine.
Yeah, I remember you sent out your message, and I was actually like up on the islands. I didn't see your message. I was like, oh no, I feel like a jackass here. I didn't respond because I was like, that's actually a really good statement. Oh, I enjoyed that joke. That was fun. Like a box of wine. I've had a few of those.
We live right in the middle of Finger Lakes wine country.
Yeah.
It's
All up
gorgeous.
and down. So
super nice. In the summertime. Wintertime, it's all covered in snow.
Yeah, but who knows what your future holds, and we're right near, like, if you with casks and if you ever come out and stuff, maybe you find stuff out here,
Yeah,
I'll have a
I'd
pour at a
like to
bar
ex-
somewhere.
I'd like to explore more of the Finger Lakes. Like I said, it was about 3 years ago when I was up in that area, and I stayed in Ithaca for a couple nights, and I did go to, was it Finger Lakes Distilling? I did end up there at some point in time. But it was like April, so everything was like dead and nobody was around.
All right,
that's about
so
right.
I wouldn't say it was gorgeous for what it was. I'd like to go check it out because it looks so different than here. I think it's like a lot of the houses, the foliage looks so different than here. Everything here is evergreens, right? So it's all like these big old evergreens. Everything's still green here. And then there was all these big, massive, I don't know, I'm assuming they're oaks. I'm not the best at that, but they're stunning.
Yeah, from what I've been told, we're a lot like the Germany as far as like with our hills and our trees, similar.
Okay.
I don't know.
Not quite with all the Nazis and stuff. So,
yeah, like same kind of like area on the globe.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was actually in Vermont recently, and New Hampshire, and during like all the fall. What's that?
Did you go to Whistle Pig?
No, I didn't make it there actually. I was specifically driving to meet a friend, and I only had a couple days, so I made it kind of a quick trip. But on the way, I did happen to go to, was it oh my gosh, I'm forgetting the name, the Sound of Music. They have a huge farm resort thing there.
I can't put my name on it, but
Von
I know what you're talking
about. Oh,
yes,
that was
that's
it.
correct.
And
well done.
They have a brewery in the woods too, which is actually kind of cool. So I ended up going there on my way over to Vermont to what was it, Lake Champlain, and that's what it said on the plaque in there. They're like, this place reminded us so much of Austria. We moved here. So I was like, oh, okay, I guess. So I would agree. It's the rolling hills. It's not, it's like very pretty.
Very
right. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
We're not gonna sing, but yeah, that's not our thing.
You're not gonna sing.
Well, you go right ahead.
Enough of this in me. I
was gonna say, just finish off one of those bottles. I'm sure you'll be singing. I'm just kidding.
What
very cool.
We're way past that thing, but if you ever came up with a blend and it seemed like something that other people wouldn't think would work, like you mix your bourbon with, I don't even know what, you know what I mean, but some other cask, you were talking about all the exploratory things, but it's something most people would think doesn't work, and then it ends up working, like everything you do apparently. And that's not, and by the way, we're not pandering either. Like if we weren't, we'd be like, listen, it's not our thing, but at least I think we would. I think we would do that.
That'd be sure.
But you should go with blasphemy for the name of the batch. If you can make it work, right?
No, that's actually great.
And it is. So
I'm pretty terrible at coming up with the names on the bottles, but so usually it's actually our accountant does a really awesome job of coming with cool names.
And he or she does a great job too, because those are awesome.
Yeah, he does
we're not
well.
looking for anything either, by the way. That's just me. I'm just artsy and I like chatting. I'm not.
I'm totally gonna write it down for the record. I'll put your name next to it because I keep like a notebook of all these things where I'm like, okay, this is a cool word. Do I like it? Would it fit this product? Whatnot? Because we try to give things unique names.
Right.
I named the Mind, Body, and Spirit all in their the cast that they came out of, all in the language that the cast came from, which I realized nobody really knows how to say them. So it's actually really confusing for people. So I'm not the person to do that.
That's awesome though.
It's like it's La Mente, El Cuerpo, and L'Esprit, which nobody.
Yeah, no, we were butchering that.
I remember El Cuerpo because I took like 8 years of Spanish, one of them being from like a Peruvian nun.
Right.
Yep. That's those people get that one. Yeah, L'Esprit. Nobody speaks French. I've realized that one. So everybody's like L'Esprit. I'm like,
yep.
So I guess the point being is it's nice to have names that are generally easier. Like blasphemy is a recognizable word.
Right. No, it'd be blasphemy to put it together, but you made it work. Like,
I mean, that might be the peaty scotches. Nobody seems to do those. That might be
awesome,
who
man.
knows? Maybe I'll blend that with some tawny port finish. I have no idea. I'm still
awesome.
working on those. That could be blasphemous. Maybe it'll be, like I said, the tequila ones. Nobody seems to do tequila casks because nobody seems interested in it, which is almost puzzling to me because I've done bourbon and rye in tequila casks, and they both are quite spectacular in their own way. Once again, not for everybody.
That's super weird to me that not everybody would be into that, because I know that there's like a massive bourbon culture and everything because we're part of that now.
Right.
But I also know that there's like a huge tequila, like people love tequilas and like they like, you gotta try this 10-year tequila. I'm like, what?
Right.
Tequila gets me real frisky. You don't want me drinking that. Like,
yeah, I know. Right. Well, it does have tequila definitely has that connotation behind it. So.
Absolutely. But I know that there is actually like a growing culture behind the tequila and all that stuff too. And I mean, you've been doing different spirits your entire life, so you probably know better than most.
I'm learning all the time. I mean, tequila is so fascinating. It's like when I first started getting into learning from the tequileros, the distillers in Mexico, and I've worked with a couple different companies before, or distilleries, and they all have these really interesting techniques. It almost seems more like magic half the time. And I don't know if it's just because they're like, oh, this kid's not going to know shit. So let's. Yeah, exactly. You're not wrong. So that might be part of it. No, I trust the people I work with, and they've taught me a lot of really interesting techniques that aren't seen I've never seen them in any other spirits. Not saying I'm particularly perfectly versed in all of them by any means, but there's some interesting techniques in tequila that I've never seen applied to anything else that I like slowly trying to gear those in or put those into some of the whiskeys here. Because I think it would be neat. That might be just different kind of aging or oxidation techniques. There's a bunch of neat things going on there. But for some reason, tequila has a lot of magic behind it.
Music. Sorry, by the way. There's like a lag, and then I felt like I had a second, and I was talking over you. I apologize. I wasn't trying to do that.
Oh, no worries.
Have you considered doing something with like a bass or whatever? Like they make that blackened whiskey by Metallica, and they put like blasted music next to it or something. Like I'm obviously butchering the process, but you know what I mean? Like have you ever considered those things?
Back, especially when I was in my early 20s, I was really just like, craft distilling was pretty new, and everybody was trying all sorts of crazy, like how to age things faster. That was such a big fad, 9 years ago, 6 years ago. It was still even a thing from time to time. Like, what, you're still trying that?
Yeah,
I get it. It's a different product, and it can be good. I don't think any of them are very similar to actually what the real age would be on a product. If you were to put them side by side, I don't know. You couldn't convince me. I'm not saying they're not good though. There are some good ones out there.
Right.
I definitely wandered down that path with a few different ideas, but none that I put enough energy into, to be totally honest. And the reality is, it's because the beauty of not distilling our own whiskeys is I do get to buy already aged whiskey if it's available, which is now becoming incredibly difficult to find. So I'm not as worried too much of that. There is quite a bit of research behind different techniques utilizing sound waves or light or I'm trying to think of pressures that will influence the product. Yeah, I mean, in the end, that's what's right. I mean, in the end, that's what's happening in the barrel, right? And this is a big lung, if you think about it, right? As the environment changes in temperature and pressure, the product itself swells, expands and contracts and moves its way in and out of the wood. It also gets micro-oxidation. I can't remember what it is on an American whiskey barrel, but it's something like 70 grams of oxygen or something is added per month on average to a barrel. And don't quote me on that. I'm probably totally wrong on it. It's been a long time since I've thought of that, but there's a lot of ways that you can probably manipulate the product. I just choose to use old techniques of mostly just moving things and putting things in different casks and blending them together and finding the profile that works for me. I'm a bit of a traditionalist when it comes to those kind of things. I don't really like to cut corners, not saying that everybody is. And in fact, the funny thing is, there's always this like connotation that tradition is like the right way. Well, honestly, somebody gave me this book when I was like about 20 years old. And it was a copy of a book, of course, is a reprint from a book that was written in the mid 1700s in France, because spirits started becoming so big, right? Mm-hmm. And people were really into them. They started drinking them more. This is in the 1800s, et cetera. And it was translated into English, of course. So who knows how particularly accurate it is. but it's all these different recipes, and there'll be like 4 recipes all next to each other that all say, whatever, here's orange curacao recipe. And it'll say, here's the high end, here's the mid grade, and here's the dumpy version. And it literally lists it out like that. And you're like, whoa, they put that in there. So people have been cutting corners forever, right? And that's the funny thing. So I don't use those particular types of corners, but in the end, tradition is a funny statement. But I like to say I'm more traditional when it comes to these aging techniques.
I mean, your traditions are working, and I've had Jefferson's agency, and I feel like that's kind of just a gimmick.
That's you said it. I was gonna maybe use that word earlier too when it comes to like using like music and whatnot.
Right.
There is some research backing it. I don't know if it's for the better or worse. It's not really something I'm trying to work towards.
Why should you when you get
I feel like I have to
results? Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Definitely don't you what you're doing. And again, not pandering. It's really good.
It is. It's very tasty stuff. Like we've been doing this for a little bit. We have a little bit of experience under our belt. Not a whole lot, but I mean, as far as things we've tasted, these are
and they're really
really good.
And it's not a terrible price point. We're not paying
$300 for a Kentucky Owl.
Yeah. So
great whiskeys. Yes. Yeah. That's another thing. I know this is one thing my salesman would love me to say, and I'm probably going to butcher it, but it's we take good whiskeys, make them into great whiskeys for a really good price or for a fair price. That's it. I think that's kind of what we're trying here. It is expensive because it's aged whiskeys that are finished and goes through so many processes. There's a lot of movement. It all costs money in the end, right? But we think for similar products on the shelf that are finished, we're in a really great price range for not to scare away people who actually want to try this new style of making whiskeys. Really, it's old styles adapted to American whiskeys, but yeah, we think they're pretty fair.
Cool. It's very unique, and no, we're definitely fans. And you have anything else you want to ask him while we have him on the phone?
The phone. See, to me, it's like a rotary dial thing, and we're like, because I'm just old.
If it makes you feel better, I do know how to use one of those. My grandmother had one on the wall.
Nope.
It's all for his rigs.
Oh man.
Lethal all over here. What I said to him, and this is a part we can cut out because this is if it's not like I don't know at all the right ways to say things.
Regulations.
Yeah, you know what. But I said to him, I would love to buy a bottle from you and have it shipped to us and pay all the normal prices for it. And maybe you could sign it for us and we could have it on set. And every time we're on, they would see like our Doc Swinson that's signed by you, Jesse Parker.
That would be really cool. Let me figure out how to do that because we have to do it in a certain way that's like all legal and fun. Because we don't have a tasting room. So if you came to our location, you couldn't taste. I mean, you could be my guest in the back, and then we could pull stuff from barrels. We could do like a pick kind of thing or whatnot, something like that. We'll call it. But we don't have a tasting room.
So now I'm coming. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. See. Yeah.
I guess it costs me a wife. Whatever. You're gonna
whiskey wife. I mean, they're similar in spelling. Don't go. I'm not married for records, so I don't know. I'm terrible at this.
It's 2 out of 3.
Is could they ask you how old you are?
I'm 30.
Okay,
nice.
Cool. Yeah, so he's been doing this for a long time, but even though he's very young.
I can't wait to see what the future holds, because if you're 30 and this is like, I can't wait because it can't go anywhere but up from here, and this is awesome. Like that's really great, man.
Well, I hope it only goes up from here. Otherwise, I don't know. Maybe I should retire. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm excited about that too, to be honest, because like I said, really playing around with all these different finishes, all these different kinds of whiskeys. It's also growing our portfolio of who we can like talk to get more barrels from, and it's really cool. So I've really only been doing this particular part of, at least on a really more commercial level, where we're actually producing more consistently every other month or so, or saying we're going to make this many of this much of that, for about 1.5 years now. Not really even. So not saying I haven't worked on the profiles for years, I have, but I'm excited to see what the future holds as well. I'm actually really, really excited about it. So that'll be good. But we will have to figure out a way to do the sign thing, because I think that'd be really cool. the bottle. So.
That would be awesome. We could keep it on set, so everybody would always see it. So
Yes, it'll be our first
signed
paraphernalia.
I love it. That'll be great.
Really cool. Jesse, I can't thank you enough. We appreciate this greatly. This was super fun, and it did go long, but that's fine.
Thank you for doing it all,
Yeah.
going over long, and just this was awesome, man.
This is the best time we've had in a long time. So
Yeah,
thank you.
Yeah,
I'm happy to hear that. I'm really happy to hear that. Thank you for having me. Anytime, seriously, you're like, hey, we found another bottle in New York. You want to talk about it real quick? Just shoot me an email or whatnot, and we'll set some time up, or text. You got my cell number. And we'll figure something out.
He said real quick. Some other time when you only want to do something
like 10 minutes, it's like an hour and a half.
I'm not celebrating a birthday because we had to talk for 4.5 hours about your mother.
Dorothy Mantooth is a saint. You leave my mother out of this.
Oh, man, that's great name, man. Nice. Anyway,
yeah, no, thank you so much, Jesse, for your time. We appreciate it, and thank you so much for everyone who's watching.
Yeah, thank you. We'll put it everywhere we possibly can. So
that'll be
we can do that.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, this is wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
All right.
Thank you. So do we.